Hey, everybody. Happy Thursday. Welcome to Adaptable Entrepreneurs with me, your host, Lisa Kipps-Brown. And I am excited to have Dr. Rob McCleland here tonight. He is an organizational expert, whatever. Rob, I'm going to let you explain it. But I'm really excited to have you tonight. And look, y'all, he is joining us from Costa Rica. So y'all are really special that he's taking out time with some of his friends, like my friend Brandon Straza, to sit down and talk. So, Rob, tell us a bit about your background and what you do.
Yeah, I love to do it. I have one of those charmed, blessed lives, and you work really hard for 30 years, and then you're an overnight success.
Yeah,
and
people
it's really
say, "Oh my gosh, it's so easy."
Yeah, right. Yeah, and so I've been grinding. My PhD is in organizational leadership. I'm one of the few people in the world that I know who I was excited to go into it, excited through all the classes, even through the dissertation, and more excited when I got out. So I love the subject. It fit me well. And I've had the privilege of leading one organization that had hospitals and schools on 5 continents. Worked for John Maxwell, ran 2 of his companies. Equip, the largest leadership development firm in the world, and then also the John Maxwell Leadership Foundation. I had the privilege of being the founding person for that and turning that over to John. And so I just love everything about that field. My day job, though, is I'm an M&A expert, and I work with mergers and acquisitions. Specifically, I work with a company called generational.com, and people can go on there and look at it. We're in that $0 to $50 million business is our sweet spot.
Okay.
But we use the exact same 16 steps as anyone, as KPMG and Accenture and Goldman Sachs. There's 16 steps, and they take a while.
Yeah.
But if you're going to be guaranteed maximum value when you exit your business, so our companies helps business owners. We don't sell companies. We've helped business owners sell their companies more than any other company 14 years in a row, and we do it with integrity. That's what Yeah, it really is fun. So I do that a couple days a week in live events in fancy ballrooms somewhere in the US or Canada. There's only 10 of us in the world who do that.
Wow.
And usually 8 of us are working any given week. And so it works out really well, because then I can start my entrepreneurial businesses. We have streamlinedpodcasts.com. And with that, we do podcast production, video production, VAs, anything that's going to help the entrepreneur really get going, specifically in the podcast realm. We crush it there for our clients. In addition to that, I'm part owner of a wine company and several other things. But I think the joy in my life, I'm 60 years old now. I've got this incredible family. It ends up we couldn't have kids, that I was the one. It's never the guy, right? Yeah, and so it was me. So we've adopted 4 different times.
Aww.
Kids could not be more different.
That's cool.
Yeah, my favorite one's been in and out of jail a couple of times. You're not even allowed to say it's your favorite, but we have unbelievably great relationships with all of them. So while I'm in Costa Rica, my wife could have been here. She's like, yeah, no, I'm going to go hang out with the grandkids.
Oh,
and so, and so we have a really fun life where we are at this stage where we get to spend our time how we want. And how I want to do it is helping leaders grow, and then kind of investing, mentoring, having fun with younger entrepreneurs. And I say younger, I've got some that are older than me that I'm doing this with. But at this stage, I like kind of being the sage in the room.
Yeah. Well, you and I are the same age. We're both 60. So look, y'all, people out there that think 60's old. 60's not old.
Oh, are you kidding me? No.
We
will bring it, baby. That's right.
I know, that's right. I love everything that you're doing. And another message that I have for the listeners is the M&A stuff is so important, because everybody thinks, I have this awesome business. One day I'm going to sell it. I'm going to make so much money. You're not going to sell it. You're not going to sell it. 2/3 of every business close down.
Yeah, it's actually about 78% right now.
Yeah. Okay. So that's more. So
yeah, it is. Yeah.
And then the ones that do sell usually go for about half of what the owner thinks they're worth.
Yeah. Pennies on the dollar.
Yeah.
And so there is a way to do it right. But if you haven't done the prep work and all the stuff you help with, Lisa, that's what one of the things that we do and we teach are the people like you who can show them, here's how you create value, so that when it is time, the buyers will go, oh my goodness. And you get the timing right and the right buyers, you're going to win. You don't miss one of those 2, you're going to lose.
That's right. And it's like you and I mentioned earlier to each other, your business is worth 0 if there isn't somebody that wants to buy it. Sorry.
And truer words have not been spoken. Your business is worth exactly zero plus what someone will pay you for it.
Exactly.
And so you might say, well, no, it's look at all this profit. Yeah, but if I look at that and I go like, good for you, but half of that's because it's you, not me.
Yeah.
And that's going to all go away. And there's nothing guaranteed. And at my age, I don't want that business.
That's right.
Your business, you don't have any buyers.
Yeah.
And so someone's going to come along and try to steal it for you, pennies on the dollar, unless you know the right way to do it.
And I always tell people nobody wants to buy a job. So, unless you have processes and systems that they know somebody else can step in and run it and make a lot of money, you can forget it. And
I'm going to shut up because that's perfect. I mean, you're killing it.
But I deal with it more from like the the technology angle and using the web and being strategic. I don't get into like the hardcore financial stuff because I used to be an accountant and I hate all that stuff. So
good for you getting out. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, so I love big picture strategy and technology, and then let the experts like you worry about the nitty gritty stuff,
Yes, ma'am.
But it's great though. I love what y'all are doing and that you've helped so many people for so many years.
Yeah, appreciate that.
So I want to talk about leadership and building teams and stuff, because I believe that there are so many of we entrepreneurs who are horrible at that because we're so used to working in our business instead of own our business, not delegating. And I'm going to raise my hand. Hello, I'm very guilty of that I am not a good team builder. And I get along great with everybody, but I'm not I'm just more like do it myselfer. So for people like, the typical entrepreneur, what kind of advice do you have for us?
Yeah, first, let's just hit that delegation piece just a little bit.
Yeah.
Because what I do, and I'll do this at a Maxwell thing with, these bigwigs in the room. And I said, how many of you are at the place where you're like, look, I know I should delegate more. You don't have to sit here and tell me. You don't want to have to make me feel guilty. But you think the bottom line on this whole deal is I can do it faster and better myself. And I've got to move fast these days. So I'm just going to do it. I say, raise your hand if that's you. And usually at least half the people do. Yeah. And so here's what I do. I go, oh, thank you for volunteering. I need you, and you. I bring them up to the front of the room. And I say, what's your name? John. John. Okay, there's this task I do, and it takes me about 2 hours to do it. And so I think, man, I got to get someone like John. But John's pretty sharp, but it takes him 4 hours to do it when he first starts, right? So John, I need you to hold up 4 fingers. And so they're sitting there like this the whole time. No, get your elbow up. This is serious, And then we go to the next one. Okay, pretty sharp. This lady, she can do it in 3 hours. So you hold 3 fingers up. This person can do it in about 2.5 hours. That's great. And then I go to the last person, and I said, what's your name? And guy might say it's Brandon. I'll pick on our mutual friend. And if it's Brandon, I go, y'all, we got to pray for Brandon. Yeah, it takes Brandon 8 hours to do this thing. Okay, so hold up 8 hours. I said, but now you guys start doing it. And I'm going, excuse me, I could do it faster and better myself. Why should I waste my time? But this 4 hours, you start killing it. You're down to 3, you're down to 2.5, 2, you're doing it as fast as I am. We're still praying for Brandon, but he's down to, he can do it on one hand now, right? So he holds up. I said, but he keeps going now. All of a sudden, it is 6 weeks later. And 3 of the people can do it either as fast as I can or close. Brandon, we're still praying for him, but he's down to about 3 hours. Now, how long does it take this person? And they'll say 3. And how long does it? 2.5. This person, 2.5. How long does it take Brandon? 3. How long does it take me? And they go 2. And I go, wrong. It takes me 0 because I don't have to do it anymore.
Right. Great point. And Brandon's not going to quit because he can't get another job.
And Brandon's thinking, I've never had more fun doing this. And my big boss trusts me to do this thing. Yeah. It's the favorite thing he does that day.
Yeah.
And I said, and so now we have 4 people ready to go. But you and I will never find them because we're like, no, it's just faster and easier for me to do it myself.
I have been guilty of that so many times throughout my I've literally owned this business for 25 years, and there's so many times that I have been guilty of that. And I also blame it a little bit on being a middle child, because the middle child is always wanting to keep everybody else happy and stuff. But I think that's more of a cop out on my part. But it is so much easier to just do it,
Do you use VAs at all, or do most of your entrepreneurs use VAs, virtual assistants?
Most of them have their own staff, or they have VAs. I have several people on staff.
Yeah, so I've got 5 VAs, and you think, what are you talking about? Each one for different businesses? No. I don't like doing the details. I'm like you on the CPA stuff. It's like, I'm really good at it, but no, that's just not me. Mm-hmm. And so I find ones who are good in each area. Now let's go back to your other question. How do you start to build a good team? Let me tell you this secret. This came out of Harvard Business Review research. It's about 10 years old now, but it was the top financial firms in New York City. How do they keep top talent? Mm-hmm. Because if you're getting top talent, they're killing it for you, right? And so this top talent is always looking around because people are trying to hire them away and give them more money. Mm-hmm. And so they do this study. What actually helps that top talent stick around? Here's what they found out. If you're going to hire 9s or 10s, I don't care if they get laid off and it's a bad economy. They can always find a job somewhere. Yeah. They're 9s or 10s, right? They're good. And since they're 9s or 10s, they will always kind of keep looking around. Are there better opportunities until one thing happens? And that is when all of a sudden they find themselves surrounded by other 9s and 10s. And here's the big secret. You don't even have to pay them as much because now they're like, these are my people. And here's where you and I blow it. You get these great people, and then we delegate to them, and we delegate the responsibility, but not the authority. We're not empowering them. Yeah, but you get that group of people, and you say, I love all of you, but you've got to help me think like an owner, not like an employee. Mm-hmm. And you empower them to do that. And all of a sudden, they love it here. And I did an experiment. I was working a guy named Gary Hamill and Patrick Lencioni, the 5 dysfunctions of a team and all that. And we had no employees leave in 3 years and 9 months. The average turnover in a year, and it was a big company, is 22% just from life, right? People, but we had one lady, she goes, my husband, he just got a huge job. And he said, I'm sorry, we're moving to Omaha. And she said, well, the kids and I are going to miss you because I'm not leaving, And so it really was a fun place to work. And I would tell you some of the things that we did and got away with. And you'd be like, that's unbelievable. But here's the thing. When you have 9s and 10s, you can do that. You can empower and have fun. And they're like, hey, can I get next week? I'm like, yeah, take it out. Why? Because if they're 9s and 10s, they know they have to get their work covered. They know it's going to be good. They'll do it. That's how
I am with my staff because I'm like, I don't want to have to deal with it, and I don't care when you do it as long as it gets done.
Right.
I'll tell you what happened to me because I'm naturally as I said, I'm naturally the type of person. I'll just do it. And but I know also if I can stay up here, I'm good. But once I have to get down in the weeds, I can't get back out because I get all OCD and perfectionist. So I have to stay up here. So what happened when my mother got Alzheimer's or was diagnosed with Alzheimer's in the early, 2010, instead of me doing what I do for my clients, which is get rid of stuff that's not profitable, niche down, do only the stuff you like, blah, 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 work more efficiently and all that, I panicked and was like, I need to hire somebody else to help me run the business. And I hired a person that I knew personally that I thought would be a great match. And I forced myself to let go, not be the normal, because I was like, okay, I have to be normal. I have to let go. And it bit me in the double.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And literally almost bankrupted me. I spent the last 6 months of her life keeping the business open and everything. And it was sad because if I'd listened to myself, I would have prevented all of that, but I was trying to force myself to do what I don't do naturally. And so anyway, and then it made me more reluctant. But so for a while.
Yes, ma'am. No, I hear that.
Once you my heart that, for you. It's really hard to let go again. But I've got great people that work with me, and I am able to let go. And they help me stay up here. So I don't get down in those weeks.
Yeah, and you know what? And I'm sure that person is a lovely person.
Yeah.
Turns out not the right person for that position.
Right.
But when we hire our friends, it's so much harder because you're hoping they do succeed and you need them to. Yeah. And it almost lost your business for you. So that's just heartbreaking.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry. Yeah, and I mean, terrible, terrible decision. And so that's one of the things that I try to help people do in their own businesses is if they are in a period of transition, try to help them take a step back and make better decisions instead of the emotional decisions, you know?
And you know what, as soon as you share that story and say, listen, I just can't have that happen to you.
Yeah.
And so I know what you're planning to do, but let's take a step back and really look at this. And now their heart's open. So again, I'm very sorry you went through it, but look at all the people you're going to be able to help as a result.
True. And I'm sorry I went through it too, and it made it harder at the end of my mother's life because I was her primary caregiver. But I learned lessons I never could have learned any other way, you know?
Yes, ma'am.
So it's very important. But okay, so tell me about your wine business.
Okay, so a friend of mine who I met, I think maybe through Brandon or somebody, might have been Zach. They started talking and saying, hey, there's this guy and he's starting this wine company. And they kept saying, and 3 or 4 times somebody said, you need to talk to the Robster or Dr. Rob or, you know, whatever they happen to call me.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I'm the founder of the Silicon Valley Benefit Wine Auction, but it was because I was running a medical foundation associated with Stanford University.
Okay.
And when I became the executive director of that, I said, okay, we've got a lot of money to raise. Just moved back to the state. And I looked up what are the top 10 fundraising events for nonprofits in California. They were all wine auctions. And so I said, guess what? We're going to have our own wine auction. It's going to be huge. Here's what we're going to do. And they're like, have you ever done this? I'm like, yeah, I don't even really drink wine. And I didn't as much back at that time. Now I have my lowest level sommelier stuff. And so I got into it. And so this guy wanted to start this business, and he is active duty military. His name's Chris with a K, K-R-I-S Levy, L-E-V-Y, chrislevy.com, Chris Levy Wine Club. And he comes to me, and this is so funny because, you know, they're going to say, how did you know so much about me and my business, you know? And that's what Robster was just sharing everything about you.
Rob, and he gave it for home
you're fired. That's right. Yeah. So that'll be fine. And I just told him, I said, Chris, I can help you. But seriously, I'm not a busy person. I build margin into my life. I choose what I want to do. And I said, this would not be worth it for me to help you because I'm passionate about it, passionate about helping you, but I don't need the money. So I'm going to choose unless I can buy part of your wine club from you. And I said, if I do that, you have to know it is a purely an ego move. It has nothing to do even with you, even though everyone says you're so cool. I said 2 reasons. Number one, I could tell my friends, oh yeah, I'm part owner of a wine business. And I said, the other thing is every time I go to Napa, business expense, baby.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, come on.
That's right.
And so he started laughing. He goes, well, how much is my company worth? And I said, okay, let's look at it. And I said, yeah, that it was. And I said, basically, here's what I'm going to give you for this percent. And it's just a very, 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 very small percent. And I said, that's about twice what I should give you. So I'll never even get my money back. I don't care. But let's start working. And he's crushing it. Specifically, he helps people who are active military. Because when you go in as a private, you can't afford a beer, let alone a wine, hardly, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and now all of a sudden, these people are lieutenant colonels on up, and they've got money, but they've never had wine experience, and they want to learn, but where do they go? So he started this wine club for them, but now it's branched out. No, he's recently done, I think, the Uber and a bunch of other startups, which just have him do virtual things online. And basically, what our wine club does is every 6 months, you'll get a box of 6 different wine, or every 3 months. And then every single month on one night, we have the person who runs the vineyard talking about 2 of the different bottles. And so you're going to open 2 bottles with your friends. You're going to do the tastings. And it's just turned out to be a lot of fun. And I get to, I'm a huge patriot. I want to help the military any way I can. So that's a good idea.
Yeah, I need to connect with him because my husband's retired military and I work pro bono with the only NASCAR driver that races to combat veteran suicide. So I have a huge community that I could hook him in with. Plus, I want to introduce him to my friend, Dr. Hobie Wedler, who is a blind PhD chemist. And he does real blind.
I can't wait. Yeah. So give him any time and say, I'm sorry, what was that guy's name? And we'll hook you up and you will meet. The guy is active. I think he's a major, 10 years. Just finishing his master's, going on to the dissertation part of the master's while he's in the military. A fantastic young man. Yeah. And for all of your listeners out there, don't tell him I tell this, but he's single too. So there you go.
I
know, right?
Women.
See, that's what I'm saying. We've got to hook the brother up here.
Yeah. Is he on LinkedIn?
I'm sure he is. Chris
I'll find
Levy,
him.
Krislevy. Yeah.
Okay. All right, y'all, ladies, wait till I go find him. I'm married though, so I'm not. All I'm going to
Yeah.
ask him to do is connect for
Yeah.
business. That's really
Yeah, and
cool.
so she's going to talk to him, ladies, and so you
Yeah,
don't need to
I'll
butt up
bet
to him.
him
You need
for
to
all
be
of
up to
y'all.
her.
Yeah,
That's
I'll
right.
bet
There
him
you
for
go.
all y'all. And I might start a Chris Levy club where they have
There
to
you
pay
go.
to introduce
See?
them. I don't know. Maybe that's
Yeah. And I jump in and magic happens.
That's so funny. But now I love everything that you're doing. You're doing so many fun things, but you're helping people at the same time.
I am. And I just got to tell you, I sleep so well because if I'm not doing something that's adding value and helping people, that thing with the business owners that I do every week, I am
Yeah.
the most passionate. Here's what the guys who do this, 8 out of 10 of them are like 2 decades investment bankers on Wall Street. I mean, these guys are brilliant, right? But I think when I'm in that room, nobody can love these people as much as I can. And I
Yeah.
just bring passion and joy. And to see them, they come in and their arms are all crossed, and they're just like, okay, what are you trying? Is this like a 7-hour timeshare presentation? That type of thing. And to see them by the first break, they're a little more relaxed. And by noon, they're just kind of like, would you just please help me? And just to see that they know that they're getting the info they need. Now,
Yeah.
most of them are never going to be qualified or it's not going to be a good fit to work with our company. So we
Yeah.
do that for that event. It's free and it's available to them. But the
Yeah.
people who are really ready to go and they're ready to invest and let's get going on it, then they can talk to the guy in the back of the room. And if it makes sense for those guys to get together, they will. But I just do the training part. And so I'm passionate about everything I do. Who has a life that has 3 or 4 or 5 different parts and you get to be passionate about every one of them? And so
Yeah.
that's why I say whatever that charmed, blessed life thing is that's out there, that's us. I'll tell you the other secret. And somebody challenged me on this, and this might be for you or some of your listeners. They said, Rob, imagine your best life. He said, in your best life, where would you want to live? Do you want to live in a 20-bedroom mansion up on a hill? I'm like, yeah, no.
No.
Because my wife's not going to hire a bunch of cleaners and she's not going to clean the thing.
Yeah, that would be
And
me.
so, yeah, in your best life, do you want to live in a gated community? And I said, I know the dream home I want to build. This is our best life. Okay. And then, okay, what car do you want to drive? Well, I've driven most of the time in the last decade, a 13-year-old SUV, praying every day it would conk out so I could get something that at least has Bluetooth, right? My wife doesn't want to drive a 13-year-old SUV. So she drives what she, so they basically said, take all those things. You want to wear a Timex or a Rolex? And you put it in this circle. And you just say, come on, God, fill the circle. Give me the opportunities. And I work hard and I do that. As soon as that circle is full, everything else, we have a nonprofit foundation or we give it to things that ministries or churches or good people are doing somewhere in the world. And so we gave away about 31% of our income last year. And we don't live any highfalutin life. I'm in Costa Rica, dude, with awesome people at the mastermind. Yeah, and I'm speaking. I'm one of the speakers at the mastermind. So this is the best life I could live, and I'm just thankful every single day for it.
That is so cool, and it's such a great lesson for people because everybody gets so hung up on money.
Right.
And one of my friends, Rich Mulholland, he lives in South Africa. He's founder of Missing Link Presentation Powerhouse, and he made the comment to me that most entrepreneurs don't know their victory condition. And they just keep working, growing and growing. He's actually
that is a strong statement.
Yeah, he's actually in my book that'll be coming out this summer, Disrupt Your Now, and I talk about that in this. And he said that he has realized that his brain needs to be in solve mode. He loves solving problems. So he had owned his business since the 90s, and he loves board games. So he's playing all these board games. And COVID hit, and it was like, hello, his business, zero income overnight because of the type of business. So he had to basically reinvent his company. And he said, all of a sudden, I realized I wasn't playing board games anymore because that solve mode was being satisfied through everything he was doing in his business. So he said, now I have my canary in the gold mine. Now I know that if all of a sudden I find myself playing board games a lot more, I'll know that I'm kind of getting too comfortable. I'm not being challenged enough. And I think that a lot of we entrepreneurs are like that. We don't know what's enough. We don't know when we're going to get to where we're going to, and we tend to think money, we concentrate on money too much instead of what we want out of life. I'm blessed in that money's never been a great motivator for me. I mean, obviously we all need to make money to pay our bills, but
and by the way, our circle is a fairly big circle. We have an incredible life, you know. And when I say fairly big, it's probably the smallest of any of my friends. But I'll tell you one area we splurge, Lisa. We go on 4 vacations a year, and we save for 2 of them. That can be really nice, because if John Maxwell says, "Hey, do you guys want to join us on vacation?" you better have some money in the bank, because where you're going in Europe or something. So we have the money that we save. The way we budget this is 2 of those can be super nice. But when it's just us and we're not doing that, we usually go to either Utah, Idaho, Colorado. We go hiking. We just go have fun. Or we take the grandkids to Disney World or something like that. And so
you know it's important to you. You're not worrying about, I got to have this car because everybody else has, I got to be in this gated community, blah, 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 blah. All that stuff. You know what's important to you, and you meet those.
And here's the beauty.
You meet those
who do want to do that. Yeah, good for them. It's not going to make me any happier. I'm like you. Exactly. I just want to live a great life and help people.
Yeah, and so, and the great thing is, you know what makes you happy. You know what you need to do that. Then you're able to help other people, and that makes you even happier.
Yes.
See, to me, that's I love that. I think it's so great. And that's one, and I'm not patting myself on the shoulder, but that's one of the reasons that I do stuff to help people, like through the NASCAR pro bono and stuff, because I get more out of it than they get. You know what I mean?
I believe that.
It feels good to help other people. So, everybody out there, figure out your victory condition, figure out what you really want and need versus, oh, I want to be like everybody else or feel important. And then figure out how you can help other people, and you end up feeling better than you ever would.
Yeah, great point. It's perfectly made. When you can say, I don't even do it in terms of what is enough, but this is the life I want. What helps me get there? I'm going to give you a really horrible, ugly statistic. Per capita, way more millionaires commit suicide than people on welfare.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's not money that makes you happy. But here's the deal. You always have thought it would be, and you do it, and you finally get all of it, and you're still not happy. And you're like, oh my goodness, forget it. There is nothing. You kill yourself. Well, what about if you would have figured out before all of that, what is it that really makes you happy, and go after that and create the life that supports that? There is no better life. Yeah.
I love that. The whole circle thing, filling in the circle. And once you have that,
very valuable for us.
Lesson. That's such a great lesson. That's going to be a great clip for me to pull out and share on social.
Yeah, no, I'm forever indebted to who shared it. And we figured out, what does that mean pre-tax? What does that mean post-tax? Yeah. And as soon as we get there, everything else goes to others and helping others.
That's really cool. So tell me what y'all are doing in Costa Rica this week.
I will. This is a guy named Travis Chappell, and he has buildyournetwork.com. His whole thing is networking, but doing it the right way. Yeah. And so Travis, if you're in the podcasting realm at all, you've probably heard the name John Lee Dumas and Entrepreneurs on Fire. He's one of the first ones in that realm who really started doing masterminds, saying, I just want a small group of people at a time and invest in them. And his work pretty expensive. I did one of his, and I think it was like $5,000 for 4 days with he and Kate in Puerto Rico. But I mean, they over delivered. I mean, they just totally took care of us. But apart from that, it was intense and good. Okay. Yeah. So his first one he ever did, Travis was in that room. I was one of the others in that room. Okay. And I'm trying to say, do I want to try to go build this podcasting empire? And I thought, no, because the way these guys are doing it, they're thinking more, here's how I'm going to monetize it. Here's how I'm going to make money. And they were a little more, and again, maybe God could have made me like that. I'm not like that though. I thought, I don't want to do that to make money. And so I started my podcast, which is called Leader Tribe, Your Daily Dose of Growth. I've got 700 episodes. I've got bazillion free resources on there, and I give it all away for free. And that's awesome. So I want to be in that realm, but that's not where I'm going to make my money. Yeah. And so I started supporting Travis, and out of that room of people, 3 that were in the room out of the 5 are here this week.
Wow.
So now Travis is doing a mastermind. He's got all these big wigs coming in. We're going to have about probably 20, 25 people. I'm not really exactly sure. He's got 3 of these villas on Costa Rica. If I turn the camera around, you can see the private chefs who are over here getting our dinner ready, which will be, yeah. And so you pay a chunk of money. The people who are paying are in this, and then you come to these, and then he brings in the people. And I happen to be one of the speakers this week, kind of king the event. And so I said, hey, Travis, I'll help you any way I can. He's like, bro, would you come speak at my event? I said, I'd love to. Awesome. And so I just said, I'll grab my own plane ticket and came down here. And he's like, bring your wife if you want. And she's like, you and Travis down there or the grandkids. Yeah, I love you guys. Peace out.
Buddy, well, I know you and Brandon Straza. I probably know some other people there.
Yeah.
Is Brandon
you probably know Jim. You know what? I see him out there. Let me go yell at him, and I'll try to turn the camera around so you can.
Okay.
Yeah, I will. That will be awesome.
Are you in the Success Finder?
I am, absolutely. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the guys preparing our dinner. Hey guys.
Ooh, nice. Hey y'all.
So peace out.
Hey.
Hello. Hey. Okay, and then here's some of the people who are just kind of hanging around and who are at the event.
Hey everybody.
Yeah. And Straza is one of those guys over there.
Straza,
you're up, baby.
I should have known he was out there.
Right here. And so there is our view and the waves crashing and all the palm trees. But there's the man himself.
What is going on, my good friend Lisa Kipps-Brown?
Hey,
what's up?
Fancy meeting you here.
I know. You know what? I travel halfway, south of the U.S. and halfway across the world, something like that. And I still get to see one of my great friends, one of the TSF coaches, Lisa Kipps-Brown. So it's awesome to see you and Rob together.
Yeah, it's so great to see you. And I want to tell everybody in the audience, go check out the Success Finder.
Yeah, successfinder.com. It's a game changer.
Yeah. Go to the App Store. It's easy. Go to your App Store, look up the Success Finder, and then find Lisa's private group. And gosh, the amazing things Rob's going to have. We'll get that taken care of for you. Yeah. By the time they listen to it, they will.
Yeah, that's right. He is going to rock it with Lisa on that
live, Rob. I mean, this is live, Brandon. So no, I can't.
I probably shouldn't be highlighting that I have a Coors T-shirt there.
Oh no, that's fine. Like hey, I have beer too, so that's
here.
Fine.
Allow me, sir. No, would you stop? That's not even funny.
No, it's awesome to see you guys. I'm going to let you guys finish this, but Lisa, awesome to see you.
Great to see you. Bye.
Okay.
Thanks. Man.
Yeah, Rob, I'm going to let you go because you need to go have fun and kick off the first night there. But I thank you so much. Thank you so much for making time for us and sharing all of your knowledge.
You know what? I absolutely loved it. And when Brandon told me how close you are, and it truly is one of those, a friend of his, any way can help you, your listeners, even if you want to say, what's your best resource on this, or this? And I will send those to you and you can send them to your listeners anytime for free. So much love, and any way I can serve, let me know.
Thank you. And tell everybody again where they can find you, where they can find it.
Yeah, they can find me Streamline Podcasts if you're in the podcasting realm. My personal site is just leadertribe.com. The picture I need, I'm just kind of changing it out. I haven't changed it in 4 or 5 years. I didn't have my cute little thing here, Yeah, and I hate people who have like some picture of them 20 years ago and they're trying to look young. I know, I'm bringing it at this age. So, but anyway, you'll go on there and there's 700 podcasts. There's a blog I've done every week. My largest hits of all time were this last week, where I shared some pain I'm going through in my life and I don't have an answer for it.
Oh, wow.
And I'm just so not used to that. I'm such a positive person. And it's not like I try to, I just am.
Yeah.
And so now this is something that I can't control and it's bringing me pain. And it is so hard for me. I'm so ashamed that I haven't learned to process some of that internally. So I just did a short blog on it and it's blown up. And so anything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just try to keep it vulnerable and real for people who want to grow in their leadership.
Well, that sounds great. Thank you so much, Rob. I'm so glad to be able to talk with you tonight. And I can't wait to check out the wine business and everything and hook y'all up with Obi as well.
Can't wait. It's going to be great. So much love to you and your listeners.
Thank you. See you later. And I'll see you on this Success Finder.
That sounds great. Can't wait.
Okay,
Take care.
bye, y'all.
Bye-bye.
See you next week.